Right guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. So I've been using the PlayStation 5 for well over a year now, and over the past year I've learned many tips and tricks which really takes your gaming experience to the next level. To start things off, have you ever been in a situation where you want to play your PlayStation but you don't want anyone else to know you're online? As you know, if you log into the PlayStation and then go to your settings and appear online that way, it's kind of useless because your friends might have already got the notification that you're online already. And if you don't want anyone to get a notification that you're online, then what you do is when you're on your login page, when you turn on your PlayStation, press options and then login appearing offline. That now will basically not give anyone a notification that you're online. This isn't really something I use personally, but I can imagine a lot of people will have a good use for this. Now moving on to my second tip, which kind of relates to the last one. If you're not really bothered about logging in, or you're the only person who uses your PlayStation and you don't want to have to log in every time you turn your PlayStation on, there is a way to do that. If you go to your settings, as I'm showing you on screen now, you can turn off the login page so you automatically log into your account when you turn your PlayStation on. This is quite a cool feature, saves a bit of time. Now my third tip here is for people who play quite a lot of games. Now if you are one of those people, you'll probably realise that there's only a limited amount of games that you can have on your home screen on your PlayStation 5. However, if there is one of your favourite games that you don't want to leave your home page, what you can do is select that game, press options, go down to keep in home, and that, no matter how many games you open before you open that game again, will always be on the homepage no matter what, and won't disappear into your game library. Now for this next tip, if you are someone who has a wireless headset plugged into your PlayStation, but you don't always want to use that, sometimes you want to play on your TV speakers or whatever, you've probably run into the problem where as soon as you turn your PlayStation on, it's silent. The reason for that is because it's automatically connecting to your headset, and yes, you can change it by going to your options menu, change the output, but if you want it just to automatically go to your TV speakers or automatically go for your headset if that's what you want, there is a way to do that. Now if you go to your settings and go to your sound settings, there is an audio output section and there's an automatic audio output selection. Click on the output that you want, and then as soon as you turn your PlayStation on, that is what the sound will play out of straight away. This also goes for my next tip as well. If you are wanting to do this, not necessarily for audio, but for your microphone, then if you go down to the next page, there is an option where you can choose your primary audio input, which is great, especially if you've got multiple things. And also a side feature as well, on that settings menu, there's also a selection where you can actually mute the microphone automatically when you log into the console. So, I don't know, if you're going to a Call of Duty lobby and you don't want your microphone and your controllers to be picking up everything you're saying, then click on that and it'll automatically mute it for you, so you're not accidentally speaking in COD lobbies. So these next couple of features are for those people who are looking to buy a new game, but it's a little bit too expensive right now. So my first feature is, for example, if the game's just released and it's at full price, obviously it might be too expensive for you right now, you can add it to your wishlist on your PlayStation account and you'll get a notification to say when the game has gone on sale. And in addition to that, if you want to save even more money when buying new games or buying anything on PlayStation, I personally use cdkeys.com. This is basically just a game key website, and on there you can buy gift cards for PlayStation at up to about 15% discount depending on how much you buy. I think it's around about the £40 one that you can buy that you do save I think 12%, which is probably your best option. That's really good. If you are wanting to save some money on your next game or buying some in-game currency, that's a really good place to go to, and I've had really good experience with CD Keys. It's not sponsored, but go and check them out. I'll leave a link down below. Now my next feature is for people who use the PlayStation menu quite a lot. As I'm sure you're aware, one press on the PlayStation button in your controller will open up the option menu, and with that menu you've got tons of different buttons at the bottom that you can use. But did you know that you can actually rearrange that or even add more shortcuts onto there as well? How you do that? Press the PlayStation button to bring up the menu, press options on anywhere on the screen, and then it'll say edit menu. On there you can add or remove different options, rearrange them, however you want. But this is really good because if you always wanted to change your audio output, or you always want to invite your friends, or you want to go to your download section more often, put it next to the home page, but then it'll be much easier for you to select that item. Yeah, again, something that might not save you very much time, but a couple of seconds here and there makes it a little bit easier to use. Now I'm sure you've heard of the PlayStation Portal. If you haven't already, that's the PlayStation's remote player for the PS5. However, if you don't want to spend 200 quid for the PlayStation Portal, there is a free alternative that you can do, and it is an official way of playing it as well. I'm sure you've seen or tried this already, but if you haven't, basically this is the PlayStation Remote Player app. You can get this on the iPhone, Android phones, get it on laptops, PCs, Macs, anything that you've got, you can download that, connect to it. If you download the PlayStation Remote Play app on any of those devices, connect to PlayStation controller via USB or Bluetooth, and over the internet you can remotely play your games, which is really, really helpful. Now going back to the PlayStation, this next tip is something that a lot of people neglect and don't really even touch. If you've got a HDR TV or monitor, make sure you go to your settings, go to your video output and check the adjust HDR setting. If that's not there, don't worry, your screen isn't HDR, don't have to worry about it. But if you've got a HDR screen, make sure you adjust that, do that calibration, because it'll just make everything pop a little bit more on your PlayStation, just look a bit nicer. Now I'm sure you're all aware as well that the PS5 can run games at 120 frames per second. Well, most games. But did you know that there's a setting on your PlayStation, not in games, that will automatically set every game you play, if it's got the option there already, into the performance mode, so you'll get the most FPS possible. Now this last tip is not necessarily a game-breaking feature, but it's a nice little Easter egg. Did you know that on the PlayStation you can actually see how many hours you've played on each game? To do that, it used to be a lot harder, but now literally hover over any game. At the bottom right of every game it'll have a little icon which tells you the amount of time you've played in each game. And I'm pretty sure some of them will shock you. For example, I don't know how on earth I played 1500 hours of FIFA 20. But yeah, that's quite a cool thing to see and check out for yourself. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you did enjoy this tips and trick video for PS5, let me know down below and I might make one for Xbox. If you stayed to the end, let me know down below which your favourite PlayStation feature is, and if you've got a PS5 or you're more of an Xbox person, or just comment a heart down below. But that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.